Okay. Oh, I love that. I see some unusual emojis, which is really cool. Awesome, awesome, awesome. Fantastic, fantastic. Well, we are in for a treat again. I absolutely delighted that Tyler is back. His session last time was most watched and most commented on, and it was so incredible to have him here again. And let me just introduce you to Tyler if you're not sure who he is. So Tyler is the founder of Bouger and Beyond and a medical medium for animals. He helps pet parents uncover the emotional, energetic, and nervous system roots behind illness and behavior. When answers don't add up, he's translating what animals may be communicating beneath the surface. So without further ado, I am going to go and hide and I am going to let Tyler to take away. And let me just make sure that I give all of the share privileges if he wants to share any screen or anything like that, so he can do that as well. But thank you so much for coming back. We
Thank
absolutely,
you.
oh my God, I just love you being here. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And as I said, I'm going to go in the background. I'll be monitoring chat. If you're asking questions, I'll be copying them. And if we need to answer at the end as well, we'll do that as well. So let's keep questions to the end. So this way I don't need to go and chase them if I don't miss something. Let's just enjoy it because you are guys in for a treat. And that's all. I'm bye. I'll see you later. I'm here. I'm in the background.
Good luck, everybody. Welcome to my spaceship. Who knows where we're going? Just kidding. Oh my gosh. They always say if you want to know someone, who someone really is, look at their pets. Because pet people, they're definitely different types of humans, right? We talk to them in baby voices in public and we don't even flinch. We have nicknames for the nicknames, and we've canceled plans because they looked sad that morning. And that last one, how many of you have canceled plans because your pet looked sad this morning? Drop me in the chat. Because what you felt, that wasn't anxiety, but that was actually information. And nobody taught you exactly what to do with it. Now, the vet can stop it, but they cannot heal it. And those are not the same thing. So I would love to hear in the chat, read in the chat. There's no judgment, full honesty. Who has talked to your pet today? And I mean a full conversation, not just, who's a good boy? Drop a me in the chat. Every damn day. Yep, I've taken sick days for my pet. You are all my people. I knew I was in the right room. Now, who has been convinced at least once that your animal understood every single word you ever said? Or who has caught your pet staring at you and thought, I'm pretty sure they know some things about me, and that's a little intimidating? Or who has felt their animal pick up on their stress, their grief, their bad day before you even ever said a word? I'm afraid they will spill the beans. She will spread the beans. Yep. And who has ever wondered, even for a second, if your pet's trying to tell you something nobody is actually listening to? Because you are all my people. Because here's the truth. You've been doing the listening, you've done the vet visits, you've had the pets. You just haven't really known that you are really actually doing medical mediumship on your pet. You just didn't know how to name it. And for the next 60, 50 something minutes, I'm going to give you the name, the framework, and 3 skills you can use the second you walk out of this room. Now, so many of my clients come to me and ask the same damn question every single time. Why is my pet still not okay? I've done everything. How many of you relate to that? They've been to the vet, the specialist, the second opinion, the third opinion. They've tried the special diet. They've tried the supplements. They've tried the prescription. They've tried the surgery. They've spent thousands upon thousands of dollars and dozens of sleepless nights. And underneath the question is deeper one they don't ever say out loud. What if I'm missing something? What if I'm doing the wrong thing? Or what if I'm going to lose them and never know if I did right by them? And that's the question I am here to answer. Through hundreds of hours of training and animal communication sessions and medical mediumship work with hundreds of pets and their guardians, I've discovered something that the medical model isn't built to see. Your pet's body is actually speaking because their soul knows what's happening underneath the symptom. And the root is rarely where the symptom ever is showing up. Medical mediumship for pets is the lens that reads all three at once. It's not to replace your vet and it's not to promise you a cure, but to make sure your animal is heard and you understand what's actually happening and you never, ever, ever have to wonder if you've missed something ever again. Because your animal is not broken, your animal is broadcasting. I believe my job is simple: to make sure no animal in my care suffers in silence and no guardian in my care is left guessing. I believe every guardian who walks into my world deserves to leave with their animal heard, their gut validated, and a real path forward, not just another protocol that buys time. I also believe that after we work together, you walk away with a relationship to your pet that is not just love, it is literacy. You speak each other's language. And I believe the world heals faster when humans remember that animals are not below us. They are with us. They are teachers, they are mirrors, and medicine. And they have been waiting for us to catch our slow asses up. Now, tell me your animal's name and type of babe that you have. Maybe it's a senior babe or a reactive babe, a diva babe, a Velcro babe, a rescued them and they rescued me type of babe. I want to hear who all of you have reactive rescue. Type it, say it, whisper it. I want to know who's in the room with us. They're all welcome. This is all amazing because all of you are here with me. Nugget, Guide Dog, love that. Harry, Winston, 5-year-old, we rescued each other. 14-year-old Yorkie, oh, 5 cats, all rescues, 1 through 24 and a half. Wow, beautiful. Olive the parrot. Ooh, so feral cat career with 0 boundaries. So we have 8 in the house. Heck yeah, I love that. That's amazing. Mia, total diva cat, she's 15. Wow, so we've got quite the audience today, don't we, y'all? So I love all of this, and I am so excited to have you all here with me. And here's the one thing I want you to know before we go any further. You are not the only one. You are not crazy, and you're not making it up. You are the one who's been listening this whole time, and that's exactly why you're here in this room with me. Of course, we got to give a big round of applause to Katya. One specific reason this room matters is because Katya built this room because she understands that the next wave of healing isn't going to come from a clinic. It's going to come from connection. One inside the line that only their audience would understand. Because guess what? That's why I'm here with you, is because I believe in what Katya's creating. Now, I'm so grateful to be traveling the world, working with the greatest creatures on earth, but it hasn't always been like that. I had a multiple 6-figure business in title and escrow. I grew myself to success. I was driving paid off dream cars. I had multiple properties all by the time I was 27. On paper, I was completely untouchable, but inside, I was dying. The success that felt like a costume that I was wearing to present outside. There was exhaustion that no weekend could ever fix. And then my beloved fur baby, who's hanging out behind me, my co-founders of Bougie and Beyond, Stella, was hit and killed by a car while I was out of town. There was no warning. There was no decline. There was no time to prepare, just gone. And the empire that I had built didn't know what to do with that kind of grief. Not 1 ounce of it. Because everything I'd been chasing was supposed to make me untouchable, loved, and a single moment proved me I never was. Stella didn't die slowly, but she cracked me open all at once. 14 months later, my sweet Paris decided that it was her time. She started to decline. She had stomach problems, prescription dog food that cost more than my groceries, hip dysplasia, vet after vet, specialist after specialist, meds stacked on meds. And I did everything that they told me because I had already lost one and I was not about losing another one. But she kept declining. And the night before she told me she was ready, I sat with her on the floor and I made a deal. I told her, Girl, if you're ready, tell me. And I'll make it as gentle and as painless as possible. I want you comfortable. And if you're not ready, I'll keep fighting for you as long as you need. And the next morning, I was at the gym, mid workout. I heard her, I'm ready. Clear as anything, not a thought, but a pure knowing. But here's the part that nobody talks about. I actually didn't trust any aspect of that. I was like, was that me? Was that her? What if I want this to be over and I'm putting words in her mouth? So I did the thing that I knew how to do, and that was I hired an animal communicator. And the communicator told me word for word exactly what Paris was telling me at the gym. And that's a moment that I could hear my own dog, and my life was starting to crack a second time. But because of that, what else could I hear? And the pivot started that day. 500 plus hours becoming an NLP trainer, master practitioner, somatic coach, trauma informed and advanced trauma, PTSD, and addiction, hypnotherapy, Reiki, Huna, shamanic, mediumship. The discovery was the same skill that opened humans up actually opened animals up, and animals were a hell of a lot faster and a hell of a lot less resistant. So here I am, I've created this, and now I have Daisy, Leo, Banksy, Chloe, and Snoopy, each one teaching me very different chapters of the exact same book that I'm reading. Building the method out of it, the metaphysical pet framework, which is 5 concentric layers of physical symptoms, environment, emotions, nervous system, and even purpose. And medical mediumship is the lens that reads through all 5 of them at once. And now I'm the person that guardians find when they've tried everything. I'm the last resort, the before they call it, the after third, the third option. And I'm clear about what I do and I don't do. I don't promise to extend life. I don't promise to cure. But what I do promise is that your animal will be heard at a level no clinic could ever offer them. That you will know what they came here to teach you. And when that time comes to say goodbye, whenever it comes, you will be left holding not left holding a lifetime of guilt and what if I had only? Because that's the work, that's the promise, and that's the paradise. Sometimes along that, the body shifts. Sometimes the symptoms soften. Sometimes there is more time. I've witnessed it. I do not control it though, and I do not promise it. What I always promise is peace. What I sometimes get to witness is everything else. I'm not here to keep your animal alive. I'm here to make sure you have nothing left unsaid when they're not. So now that's my story, and I want to talk about yours. So here's the question we're going to talk about in the next few minutes. Lots of minutes. How do I stop chasing one symptom at a time, in one layer at a time, and instead read the whole animal, body, and soul so I actually find the source of not just another band-aid? That's our challenge today, and doing it through medical mediumship is way more interesting than another $200 test that comes back inconclusive. The medical model treats the body, but nobody's reading the body. The trainer treats the behavior, but nobody's translating the behavior. The medications stop the signal, but nobody's asking what the signal meant. And medical mediumship is the translator. It reads the body, it hears the soul, it locates the source. And by the end of this hour, you'll know how to do a piece of all 3. So here's what we're going to talk about now. The body is always talking, right? And modern medicine treats the symptom like a glitch in the machine. Hurry, we got to find it, find it, find it, suppress it, move on. And if it comes back, we suppress it even harder. Or we go deeper into protocol. Change the food. Here's a list of prescription dog food or cat food. Go feed your animal that. The whole framework assumes that the body has made a mistake. Error, 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 not the case. It didn't. The body is doing exactly what it was designed to do, and that is speak, just like I'm doing to all of you now. You've watched your animal symptom move from one place to another. You treated the skin, now it's the gut. You treated the gut, now it's the joints. You treated the joints, now it's the behavior. And every layer of suppression sends the signal somewhere else. How many of you have noticed that in your own body? Because every vet visit costs more, gives less, and explains nothing. You walk into a flare up and you don't panic because you ask a different question. Not how do I fix this, but what is my animal trying to say? You read the symptom like it's a sentence, not a malfunction. Wouldn't that be nice? You know which organ system maps to which emotional theme. You know what your animal is processing for you and what's actually theirs. You stop chasing symptoms in the dark and you start translating them in the light. And whether the symptom resolves or not, you finally understand it. That changes everything about how you carry it. The symptoms are the body's last available body language when every other channel has been ignored. The body literacy is the skill of reading where and when and how a symptom presents as an encoded information. Then we have suppression, which by definition is silencing the symptom without resolving the source. It's effective short term, but it's catastrophic long term. Now, this is not about saying not anti-medication. I'm not refusing emergency care. I'm not pretending you can read body better than a diagnostic when an actual emergency is in front of you. And it's not assigning meaning randomly, and it's not woo-woo guessing. But what it is a second layer that runs alongside the medical one. A literacy that asks, where in the body might this actually be showing up? Or when in the day is this happening? Or what's happening in the home? And what was happening to you in that moment? A pattern recognition. This is a skill that turns chronic symptoms into a roadmap that's readable so you can have an understanding. Now, what I want you to do is I want you to close your eyes for just a minute. And I want you to bring your animal to mind. And if there's a symptom, I want you to locate that symptom and where is it in their body? And then I want you to ask these 3 questions in order. When did you notice this and when did it first appear? What was happening in your home, in your life, and in your body? Now, where does it live? What organ, what side, what region in the body is this showing up? And then what does it stop them from doing? What's the behavior or function it's actually interrupting? And after you have those 3 questions and the answers to them, I want you to write them down. Do not analyze them yet. But what I want you to do is I want you to look at exactly what you wrote because the body just gave you a sentence. Now, I would love to hear in the chat maybe something that you didn't see before this opportunity. And drop it in the chat. So this is one tool. The Metaphysical Pet app walks you through the full scan with prompts for every organ system, every behavior, and every age band. You don't need to memorize anything. You just need to learn how to listen. I worked with a lovely dog named Simon. He's actually been one of my longer clients, multiple sessions. And the other day, we're wrapping up our package and his owners, his guardians were like, well, I'm sure this is probably one of many marriage counselings on the behalf of a dog that you're going to be partaking in. Simon is way less reactive. We started out at the beginning where he was biting and super reactive with all of these people and other dogs. He's now relaxed. He's sleeping more. He's actually built a better relationship with the guardians, and it's all because we shifted the environment between the guardians. Marriage counseling after 25 years on behalf of a dog doesn't get much more real than that. Now, so many people say, but my vet said it's idiopathic. Well, idiopathic means we don't know, and it doesn't mean there isn't a cause. It means the medical lens has run out of vocabulary, not that the body has. Idiopathic is a Latin word for we ran out of language, the body didn't. So now the soul has the diagnosis. What does that mean? Animal communication has been packaged as a parlor trick. What was their favorite treat? Or what do they think of the new couch? Or what did they think about Susie, the next door neighbor? I think she's hot. That's not what the soul is here to talk about. The soul is here to tell you exactly what's wrong, why it started, and what they need from you in order to release it. You felt your animal trying to tell you something for years. You've dismissed it. You've second guessed yourself. You've told yourself you were projecting. And meanwhile, the symptom kept escalating because nobody was listening to the only voice that knew. Mediumship is receiving information from consciousness that does not use spoken language. It's soul level communication that allows for dialoguing with the part of your animal that is older than their body and knows what their body needs. Where reception is not transmission, you're not sending, you're listening. As you sit with your animal and you ask the questions and you receive the answer, not in words, but in images, in sensations, in knowings, that's when you stop guessing. That's when you start collaborating. Your animal becomes a partner in their own healing, not a passive patient, making money on someone else. What this is not, though, is it's not making things up. I promise you, there have been times that I'm like, I feel like I'm making all this shit up. And I know I'm not. I had a client this morning that she asked a question about the allergies on the stomach. And all of a sudden, nettle came in. And I was like, what in the world? Are dogs even supposed to have stinging nettle? I looked it up and it was literally all for allergies. Right there. How am I supposed to know? I've never used stinging nettle in my life. This is not putting human words in your animal's mouth. It's not asking them what they want for dinner, and it's not bypassing the body, the vet, or the diagnostics. Okay. But what this actually is a trainable skill, and it can be born. It's also a nervous system practice. You have to be regulated to receive clearly and cleanly. It's a two-way exchange where you ask, they answer, you verify. And it's a way to get the source faster than another round of guessing and another $1,500 vet visit. Now, doesn't that sound amazing? This is one question out of so many, because there are so many questions that we are left with that are not answered. And the Metaphysical Pet app has guided a communication as a protocol that you can run anytime something flares up. So you can start to get some of the answers. It walks you through regulation, the question, the reception, and the verification. Now, one of the things about this is my beloved baby Daisy, she's laying right here on the floor cuddling with my baby Leo. And Daisy's name actually came from Paris and Stella's favorite flower. And when she got spayed and neutered, or when she got spayed, because she's a girl, not neutered, that's for boys, she all of a sudden developed these allergies. And I was exploring it and I was like, girl, what's going on? And the word abandonment and betrayal came up. And I was like, okay. And so she took me back to the time when she said, yeah, you left me at the vet. I didn't know that female dogs actually had to stay there overnight after being spayed. That was all news to me when I dropped her off. And then she felt abandoned because I left her there. And so when I started to work with this energy and I was like, girl, let's work through this. You don't have to carry it. And she's like, okay. I noticed that she was able to eat chicken without breaking out in hives. She was no longer itchy. She was no longer scratching. I was like, oh my gosh, I cracked the code. I had done the vet visits. I had changed her food. I changed the protein. I did everything a pet parent was taught to do. And then came in the relief. And then all of a sudden, she started to have flare-ups again. You see, animals are a lot like onions like us. Every layer we peel back, it gets thicker and thicker and thicker. And so all of a sudden, I noticed she has hives on her head. And I'm like, what the hell is going on? I thought we cleared this up. And then I was in a session dealing with another dog's allergies, and out came denial of your own power. As soon as I was like, well, there we go. This perfect little being who has projected on that I've projected all of my own stuff on, I was like, great. And I was able to track back to where I was denying my own power. And a lot of it stood with the medical mediumship because I was like, I don't know if I trust myself enough, y'all. Self trust, we don't know her in this realm. What are we talking about? And so as soon as I started to work with it, address the fact that I was denying my own self power, those hives that were magically on her head, they like disappeared. It was weird. I was like, what the freak? Huh? And it was all because I was denying my own power. I'm like, girl, stop holding all my stuff for me. You don't got to do that. You're a dog. So then I started to work through it, started to step into the power. Guess who doesn't itch, lick, or even scratch all the time? My girl Daisy. And it was because of the reactivity of me denying my own power and, of course, abandonment and betrayal. And here we are. Now, so many people say, I'm not a psychic. I can't do this. Well, guess what? You don't have to be a psychic. You have to be regulated. And guess what? You are a psychic. Don't let anybody tell you anything different. Reception is a nervous system state. It's not a spiritual gift. If you can feel your animal walk into the room when your eyes are closed, you already have the skill, and it's just about refining it. You don't need to be a psychic. You need to be quiet enough to hear what's already being said. So everybody, what is everybody hearing? Are you getting some ahas? I'd love to hear in the drop in the chat some things that you're like, whoa, I had no idea that this was even a thing, or I want to hear what's coming up for all of you as we move into the vet sees the symptom, the medium sees the source. Yes, regulated. Yep. Diagnostics can find tumors, they can find bacteria, they can find deficiencies, and they can find structural damage. I have Frenchies. They stress me out from time to time because sometimes I'm an irregulated mess. Okay. I'm a helicopter parent. I had a crazy, crazy, crazy experience with my dog being hit by a car while I was out of town. Now I'm a helicopter parent. And so I freak out with any of these little things that might be going wrong. Diagnostics can find those structural damages. Frenchies are known for that. Diagnostics cannot find, though, the ancestral trauma, environmental projections, soul contracts, or even energetic cords, surrogate symptoms, unprocessed grief in the household. I worked with a lady who has a cat who crossed, unfortunately, and it was all because of bladder stones. Well, bladder stones are crystallized emotion, and grief is stored in that area. And she's like, I got my kitty cat when my grandma died, and I was unable to process the emotions. She has now come back actually 4 times, and we are doing a pretty deep, in-depth session. And she told me on our last session that her brother actually had passed away not too long ago, about 2 years ago. And I was like, and there's no coincidence at all, right? That there's, I mean, I don't believe in coincidences, but it is literally trapped grief inside the emotion, inside the bladder. And so it has created this blockage, and it ends up blocking them. And she's like, ugh. And she had to go through it a second time. Deal with your grief. Just kidding. I mean, do it, but also allow yourself to have the compassion for yourself. Every one of these can produce physical symptoms in an animal of the ancestral trauma, of the environmental projection, soul contracts, unprocessed grief. But guess what? Not a single one of them shows up on a scan. You've run the test. Some come back clear. Some come back contradictory. Some come back with a name and absolutely no answer or no solution. You've spent hundreds and thousands trying to find a source that the testing equipment is not built to actually detect. You're not crazy. You're just looking at the source in the wrong layer. You can scan all 5 layers of your animal system of the physical symptoms, the environment, the emotions, the nervous system, the purpose, because you know which layer the symptom is actually rooted in. You stop treating the leaf, you start understanding the root. And whether or not the symptom shifts, that means this is working, Ems. You stop wondering, you stop guessing, and you stop second guessing every choice you've ever made. You know what's happening and you know why. And that knowing is its own kind of medicine. Now, source is the layer where the symptom is actually originating. Where surrogacy is when an animal carries an emotional or energetic load that belongs to the guardian or the household. My girl Daisy, last year, when I fully stepped out from behind the curtain about animal communication, and I was like, oh boy, everybody's going to think I'm crazy. Granted, I was like, this feels worse than when I came out of the closet. And now I'm coming out as this crazy animal whisperer guy. What? So last year, she jumped off the bed and hurt her back. She was carrying the emotional load of being, how am I going to make money doing this? I was in total lack and scarcity. I thought it was IVDD, and I was like, oh boy, I just created this huge mess. And in that moment, she told me, we are a huge mirror and we're showing you exactly where you're hiding your things. It's shining a light on the dusty corners of your psyche. She literally surrogated all of my emotions and energetic load. What? Our animals are way more wise than we actually give them credit for. Now, the definition of 5 layers of the physical symptoms, which is the innermost layer of everything. Then we zoom out to the environment, the emotions, the nervous system, and then purpose, which is the outermost layer. The purpose that they serve in your life, the purpose that they are here to bring you, the soul contracts that you have. Now, this is not a replacement for diagnostics. I wish it were, but I'm not a vet and I'm not here to diagnose your pet. This is not blaming you as the guardian for the animal's symptoms. And this is not assigning a single mystical cause to a complex case. But what this actually is a layered scan used after or alongside medical to, I don't know, figure out how to work together. It's a way to ask, which layer is this actually living in? It's a protocol for working through each layer until the source reveals itself. So what I want you to do is I want you to bring your animal's strongest current symptom to mind, if any. And if there aren't any, amazing. Maybe you have a pet in the past that you can do this with. If you need to borrow my dog, Paris, who had stomach problems after Stella was hit and killed, you absolutely can borrow Paris. And in that each layer in order, I'm going to ask you one question for you to explore with the physical symptoms. Is this purely structural or is it chemical? And then I want you to shift into the environment. Did this start when something in the home, the routine, or the people changed? The emotions. What was I feeling? What was unprocessed? And what was unprocessed when this all began? Then jump into the nervous system. Is my animal asking, am I safe, and getting no answer? And then in purpose, what is my animal here to teach me? And have I been refusing the lesson? The layer that lights up at the brightest at the source is the source. So with Daisy, When she jumped off the bed, the physical symptom was her back. And then the environment was, did I start something in the home or no? The environment, yes, we were going through kind of an interesting time in our lives, not a bad thing. Emotions, what was I feeling? Well, number one, guilt. I was feeling so guilty because I had yet changed paths again because I was like, yeah, this sounds more exciting. And by the way, I love what I do and I'm never doing that again. I'm doing this for the rest of my life. I was feeling guilt, but I was also feeling pressure of like, oh my gosh, this is a whole new realm. Am I really going to be able to make money to support my family? My nervous system, I was in a space where I was like, am I safe or am I not? Same thing with Daisy. She's like, here, let me hold that. Am I safe? Probably not. I'm going to jump off the bed. And then what Daisy was here to teach me was literally stop denying my own power. She's been my greatest teacher. She's literally my textbook. She's my college textbook, my biggest lesson. But she was also here to teach me that our animals are our biggest mirrors, that they are the biggest reflection, and they help us find every aspect that we're refusing to see. So now I want you to drop in the chat. Which layer did you notice lit up for your pet? Drop it in the chat. Her stomach. A lot of times the stomach, depending on where it's at, is also trying to release. Also, the stomach is holding survival mode. It's also protection. And so in the stomach, sometimes we find that there's a lack of safety or there's a lack of trust. Interesting because we have in animals, they've got the base chakra, which is comparative to ours of the or the root. Diabetes and it was when I was really stressed. Wow. Yep. And so your body like had to fight the kidneys. Kidneys process toxicity out and filter it. Wow. So crazy. Do you see how this kind of all helps us decide, like figure out what's going on? This is where the work is, which I think is what caused my now I'm not stressed, I'm good. That's good. I'm glad you're not stressed. Stress is not good for the body. But I don't need to tell you that. This is where the work is. It's not inside the next medication and it's not in the next test. It's literally inside finding where it lights up in the body. And inside the Metaphysical Pet app, this has a full layer locator protocol where you enter the symptom, it walks you through every layer, and it tells you what to do once you find the source. Now, I've talked a lot about Daisy and I've talked a lot about Leo and I talked about Simon. Now I want to talk about my beloved client, Finn. Finn, it was a 5-year-old Staffy, and he had a mast cell tumor come back 3 times. The first 2 times it was great. Like they were able to surgically remove it. And then the third time was unfortunately not going to work. But what his guardian said to me was, you helped me find so much peace and so much comfort in this. I got to know what he wanted to do. And we found a lot of stored emotions. He had a lot of early onset trauma when he was found in a parking lot of a Walmart covered in meth and feces. And when I heard that and I was like, oh boy, we are going to be diving into some deep stuff. And inside that, we discovered that there was unsafe, there was a lack of trust, a lack of stability. Well, guess where his mast cell tumor was? It was in his hip. Literally the base chakra, all about safety and trust. Now, again, I can't promise a cure and I can't promise to heal, but what I can do is I can bring you a peace and clarity. His guardian, the only thing she wanted was to have him for her 40th birthday. She got to have that. We also got to work together. She got to understand Finn on a deeper level. And when his time came to cross, she was like, I am so at peace with this. This was the most beautiful and peaceful transition, and I wouldn't have wanted it any other way. But we got down into what was going on. It helped his mom have a way better and deeper compassion for him and for herself. And unfortunately, again, like I said, he passed, but in each layer of the framework, his purpose was to teach her unconditional love and forgiveness. Then um in the environment piece, it was to teach her literally that it's safe. The emotions, safety. He taught the biggest lesson about safety. So many times people say, well, what if I don't want it to be about me? It's not about blame, but it's actually about access. Your animal can't process what's in the household alone. They need you to do your half. It's a two-way relationship, just like a a relationship between partner or spouses. The fastest path to peace for both of you is your willingness to look at your own layer. Not because you caused it, but because you're the one with the hands and the awareness to meet it. If you are part of the problem, guess what? You are also the magic secret sauce to help cure the energy. Your animal can't heal what you won't look at, and they don't want to. Stop putting all that pressure. Now, I want to take you back to a moment that I've only told a few people. The night before, when I'd sat with Paris on the floor with the stomach problems that had appeared after Stella had passed, the prescription dog food, the hip dysplasia, the specialist visits, I had spent more on her care than most people spend on a car. I really like in a couple of months, I had spent way more than my car payment was at the time. And I was watching her decline in front of me, and I was watching her decline super fast. I didn't know if I was helping her live or helping her suffer. And so when I made her the deal, I said, Paris, I will keep fighting for you for as long as you need me to. But if you're ready, you have to tell me, girl, because I can't make the decision for you. And so many people don't know, did I do the right thing or did I do it too soon? Did I not do it soon enough? The thing is you know deep inside of you. And the next morning I drove to the gym and I was mid-set, literally. I was not thinking about her. I was clear. I had just channeled, like I was just in the zone. I wasn't asking. I was just there. And when I heard her say, not in a voice, but as a knowing of, I'm ready, I sat down in the middle of the gym and I cried in front of a bunch of strangers. But really, here's the thing that nobody tells you about the first time you hear your animal speak. You don't believe yourself. You gaslight the hell out of yourself. Was that me? Was that them? Am I making this up? Am I making the wrong decision? And I thought there was no way that was her. That was me. I'm making it up. I want this over because I'm exhausted. I'm putting words into my dog's mouth who is suffering. So again, I did the only thing I knew what to do, and that was hired the animal communicator. And when I started to talk to the animal communicator, word for word, she told me what Paris had said at the gym is same words, same message, same readiness. And in that moment, I was like, you've got to be kidding me. I just went through this 14 months ago, and now I'm doing this again. In that session, this is when everything began to change. Not because Paris' bodies shifted, not because she was healed, not because I got more time, but it's because I had actually realized that I had actually heard, and I've been hearing animals my entire life. I just didn't have permission to trust it. And in that session, Paris told me, actually, both of my girls told me their favorite flower, which is Daisy, and that's how Daisy got her name. She told me exactly how she wanted to cross. She wanted to be in the living room with Stella's ashes. She wanted melodic music. She wanted it in the living room of the house, done at home. She also told me, They both told me the favorite memory that they had is when I brought them home as a rescue. We were laying on the floor and rubbing some bellies and just hanging out. It's the first time they opened up to me. And in that moment, I was like, whoa, Paris didn't need a cure. She needed me to listen. And then she needed me to believe what I heard. This is the first time she taught me my gift. The second is what taught me my work. And that's exactly what medical mediumship for pets is. It's not magic. It's not party tricks. It's not a cure I'm selling you. It's the literacy that lets you say goodbye to the right animal at the right time with nothing left unsaid. It's the difference between a guardian who carries guilt for the rest of their life and a guardian who carries grief and only grief. Those are not the same weight. So, inside the Metaphysical Pet app, for those of you who are going through transition and loss of your fur babies, you also are a part of this. You've learned 3 skills that most pet guardians will never know exist: body literacy, soul level communication, and layer location. And you can keep going with me for free starting tonight. The Metaphysical Pet is going to give you a free 7-day trial across every single layer that we've talked about today in the app. And after the trial, you keep free access to the foundational tools we just used: the body literacy scan, soul level question protocol, the layer locator, and forever with no charge. And as a thank you for being in this room. Now, I'm a little biased, but I think this is the coolest thing because not only do you get to hang out inside the app, but you actually can go in and learn the energy behind your pet. So in Purpose, you can do zodiac signs and zodiac readings. We are bringing astrology into this feature as well, all a part of the Purpose. There's daily readings, there's weekly readings, there's monthly readings, and there's yearly readings based on the transits that are happening and how they might affect your pet. Then you also get to experience the energy and you get to not ever have to worry about it. You get to walk out of here as inspired and forget the protocol by Tuesday. The next flare up, you go back to the same loop: the vet, meds, hope, and repeat. The skills atrophy if you don't use them. But every protocol from tonight built into the app with prompts and audio walkthroughs, a library of soul level questions for every kind of symptom, the full metaphysical pet framework, every layer, every tool, updates, new protocols, and a community of guardians using this in real time. I am in the process of adding way cool things to that. And it's always an evolution because I'm always evolving. What you get to do is you get to click the link that's been put in the chat by Katya, and you get to start the free trial tonight while it's fresh. Go in there, play around, see what you see, and experience it. Use the body literacy scan on the way home, where you see what your animal's been trying to tell you all freaking week. Your animal didn't end up with you by accident. They came in with a job, and part of that job is to be heard by you fully before they transition. And whether that's 20 more years or 20 more days, the work is the same. Listen, translate, and witness. Say what needs to be said while there's still time to say it. That's the work I do, and that's the work you can start tonight. Not so your animal lives forever. I really wish they did. I really wish I did. So that whenever the goodbye comes, you carry grief, not guilt. Those are not the same weight. And again, I cannot promise you more time. I can promise you no regret. And in this work, that's the bigger gift. I'm so grateful to have spent the last hour with you. I'm so grateful for Katya creating this, and I'm so grateful for all of you being here, showing up for your pets. You guys are all freaking incredible, and I'm so grateful. I'm Tyler, the Pet Whisperer, founder and CEO of Bougie and Beyond. I'm so grateful. Thank you so much.
What another incredible session. I'm like, I just love listen to you, but most importantly, I love your passion for our pets. I love your passion about pet parents. And I really love that you bring the points home so strongly. So thank you from the bottom of my heart for being here with us. And we have quite a lot of time, 2:22, by the way, where I am. So, and we have a question because a little bird told us that apparently Tyler has a wedding on June 20th. And, right? No? Am I wrong?
No, you're right.
You're right. So we had a lot of questions. So who is Tyler marrying? So everyone wants to know, who are you marrying?
Well, that is a great question because you are all going to be hearing from him at 4 o'clock Mountain Time, so 3 o'clock Pacific Time on another incredible, powerful session. I think I'm better, but just kidding. I'm just kidding. But his name is Carson.
Yes, yes. So, yeah, we love both of you. I know Tyler found out, I don't know, somewhere from my post on Facebook. He applied for the first time and brought Carson here, and now they just hear regulars, right? So, just regulars.
I
I
know. We
love
were
that.
like, oh, and when I saw you were doing this one, I was like, oh, all right, twist my arm. I guess I'm talking again. How could I not? Like, this is exactly the room I want to be in. And you've created such an incredible room. So thank you so much for allowing me the energy and the space and the time. Nobody's going to understand my crazy woo-woo like this community would.
Exactly. This is why we exist, right? So that's
Exactly.
amazing, amazing. Okay, so you guys know your assignment, right? So you know all of my three rules. So right now, just put in the same message. What is your biggest takeaway and gratitude for Tyler? And then you're going to grab and copy the same message. You can expand it, and you're going to drop it in community and tag Tyler as well, so we can see other people can start reading it and coming back to his session, because this is what we want, right? So because we're serving communities over the globe, so not everyone can attend them live. And remember, use your bingo because we have a lot of prizes on the table there. And if you get, even if you don't win the prize, remember, as long as you get just one line, horizontal or vertical, you are going to be, I wanted to say, you are going to be granted access. So that's English for you. I'm going to give you access to the finishers, the Oracle Finishers Club. And that club is very special. You cannot buy it, and you cannot bribe me to get into that club. You can only earn your entry into the club by finishing something. And in this summit, we're making it fun. We are going just to ask you to finish at least one line on a bingo card. That's not much. Out of 60 sessions, I think it's only 7 or 8. So that is pretty doable. Okay, fantastic. So let's read. So now, Tyler, you can just relax and receive and see what we have here. Barbara was asking bingo card link. I will do that after I will stop reading all of the stuff, but I will grab it for you, Barbara. Mayal, sadness troubles are not an energy source for others. That's the biggest takeaway. I love that. Rhonda, thank you. I love that you took animal communication, which is something I've been able to do my whole life. And basically, once you sorted it out, almost immediately turn it into a business and sharing it. Awesome. Yes, absolutely. Jen, thank you so much, Tyler. Love the session. Biggest takeaway, trust my intuition. I have known when every outside feral was ready to pass and had sort of written it off. Very interesting. Here, big shout out. You two need to connect. You live very close.
Mm,
So just like you need to do in real life, some like some stuff there, and I'm super jealous. Jen is my business bestie,
I
right?
love
But I
that.
can only imagine that, right? So
How fun.
yeah, Rain, thank you so much, Tyler. And my takeaway is that Tyler is doing the important work of teaching humans that we're not the only people on this rock we call home. I love that. Don, animals as mirrors takeaway. Tyler is wonderful, so much care and love. Julie, biggest takeaway, I need to ask my pets and actually listen to them for the answers. That's the biggest one. We get so busy. Like I find, like I have Minky, who is right there. You might hear her snoring sometimes, right there in her bed, and we're just so like I'm busy today all day, right? So, and I ignore her pretty much for the whole day. Pretty much. Thank you, Rhonda, for posting the uh, link to our bingo card. So it's important that we just stop and listen, ask them and listen. And I learned so much in this session, but I'll be watching it again because I was multitasking. So it's still in the background, but I absolutely will do that and we'll test it up and everything else. Any questions for Tyler? We still have a couple of more minutes. Rhonda said, well, I'm not speaking, but I'm on the floor with Nugget and we had a nice cuddle session, a nice talk. Yes, I love that. I love that. Yes.
Love that.
Fantastic. So any questions for Tyler? As I said, we have a couple of minutes here, so we'll take advantage of that.
I will say, so I am in the process of migrating systems. So if anybody has any issues with getting into the app, please email me or send me a message or tag me in the school community. I will do a really good job about paying attention to that. I've been so deep in creation over here, created my own CRM. And so now I'm migrating everything. So if anybody has any problems, please, please, please let me know. So I can help address that. I want to make sure that you get access and you have fun and you go play in there.
Yeah, yeah, amazing. I just downloaded it as we were talking, but yeah. So any questions? And getting ready for the wedding, that's too, right? So, and by the way, we want to see all the pictures after it happens. Sorry, not sorry.
Yes, we
in the community here.
We're gonna do a little bit of a smaller one this year and then probably do a big one next year. So
Yeah,
yeah.
awesome. Yeah, Rhonda is like, yes, picture. Katya in her matchmaker personally. Yes, that's right. So Tyler might not know. Inside this community, what we do, I play matchmaker. So it's Oracle connections. But I connect people. My background, my last corporate job, I used to work as a dating coach at Match.com.
Oh wow.
That was my last corporate job. So I kept hands a matchmaker. And inside community, because we have a lot of other people with different school communities, all spirituality, we can talk about all woo and everything else here, right? So,
Right.
but I can't help everyone. I don't know nothing about Pat Medium. Well, I know more than I ever did because I listened to you twice now or more in replay as well. But I can't help everyone. So what I do, I pay attention when people engage and they communicate. Then I like when they join or say something, I'll say, oh, just like I did with Jen, you two need to talk, right?
Totally.
So you
Love
need to
that.
do that. So you might not see, and if you're new to community, I know we welcomed over 1,000 people in the last 2 weeks, so and even more before that. But if you're new in community, you're not seeing it now because it looks different during the summit. We are focusing on a summit for the whole week, and then you will see again all the matchmaking posts and all of that stuff. So come in, and who knows, maybe we'll have a new, like, first ever wedding for Oracle Connections too. We don't know. You never know who you're going to meet, right?
Exactly.
So, yeah,
Exactly.
exactly. Amazing. Any question? If no questions, oh, okay. Rhonda said, well, if possible, some of us may match you during the summit. If I ever see a match, I pointed out too. Yeah, absolutely. Please do that. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
please do that. We absolutely welcome that. It's absolutely impossible for me to look at all of the comments. I just checked how many activities we had today, and I'm going to check it right now. And we are at 6,120 activities. There is absolutely no way I can catch all of them. And I appreciate when you're helping each other, like Rhonda just did. She dropped the link and all of that stuff. I super appreciate you, especially when I am going from session to session and touching grass in between those. Right? So amazing. Well, I don't think we have any questions, Tyler. Anything that you want to say, like kind of your words of wisdom? What else do you want to tell them before we
I'm
say
the
goodbye?
I'm probably the best pet whisperer because that I'm totally kidding, y'all. I do think I'm pretty good. But Pet Whisperer is all encompassing, and it is a term that I'm so pumped to be representing and bringing to this world. There's so many different things. Like I said, for those who have pets that are nearing transition or have transitioned, you're not forgotten. My entire business is focused around pets that are alive, but also grief, because I understand what grief can do. Yesterday was the 5 year anniversary of my Stella being hit and killed by a car. And there are still moments where I don't grieve anymore, but the waves of emotions of guilt or that I'm like, great, I gotta clean that up. But I'm still learning lessons from that. So allow your pets, if they have transitioned or nearing transition, allow yourself to learn the messages and the lessons that are inside that, because the one thing that's under talked about in grief with pets crossing is that it is a crossroads. It brings you to a crossroads. Either you go down a path that you just sit and spiral in a deep dark depression and your life just changes and doesn't get better, or you can allow it to teach you the lessons and take the lesson path. If you allow it to do that, I promise you the lessons, no matter how painful it is in the moment, the lessons are beautiful. This is how Carson and I met, was because Stella was hit by a car and Paris had to tell me she was ready to transition. I wouldn't have been able to do that had I not lost one and had to prepare for the other. And so listen, allow yourself to learn the lessons through it. They're not gone. They just transition form.
Love that. Thank you so much again. My
Oof.
huge gratitude. And I'm sure we'll see you again at our other summits when they come in when I will recover from this one. Right? So,
Yes.
okay.
Thank you so
Awesome.
much.